Let's now bring in White House correspondent Mike Memoli with more on the big Democratic rally this weekend in Pennsylvania. Mike, good morning. Always great to have you with us. So we saw this significant joint appearance by these two presidents. What was their message to voters?
Yes, Savannah, this was a political reunion 2 years in the making. We hadn't seen Barack Obama, the former president, Joe Biden, the current president, together on stage at a rally since the late days of Biden's 2020 campaign. And it was a good energy in that room, a big crowd. And that was really the goal here, to try to fire up, to energize Democrats in the key battleground for control of the Senate there in Pennsylvania. And their message was really twofold. It was a real tag team effort to try to fire up Democrats by reminding them what President Biden has done in office and really what was at stake if Republicans take control. Let's see how that played out on stage on Saturday night.
Your right to choose is on the ballot. Your right to vote is on the ballot. Social Security and Medicare is on the ballot. There's something else on the ballot. Character. Character's on the ballot.
The good news is you have an outstanding president right now in the White House. He's doing stuff right now, solving problems right now with a Democratic Congress, and he can continue it if you vote.
Now, I know a lot of Democrats smile at seeing those two back together on stage. And it's been interesting as I've been talking to advisors to both men. They've been talking a lot behind the scenes together, talking by phone often, trading intel on what they've been seeing on the campaign trail. One of those conversations, I'm told, was about how tough it is to get their message out because of concerns about inflation. And I thought that's why it was so interesting. You heard President Obama there playing that role of validator, talking up Biden's record.
Absolutely. And interesting to hear how much they've been in touch behind the scenes. So we see them together right now, but they have both been campaigning separately. In fact, the former president has had rallies in these key battleground states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan. But then our current president, Biden, has appeared in states where Democrats are leading. That includes New Mexico, California, New York. What's behind that strategy, and why was it important for them to finally campaign together in particularly Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I mean, Savannah, in 24 hours, obviously, as voters go to the polls, some of the key battlegrounds are the very same ones that we've been following throughout. And that's where we've seen President Obama spending these last 2 weeks in those 6 key races where Senate control is going to be determined. But one of the big storylines tomorrow night is going to be about Democrats playing defense on what should have been safe ground in these blue states. And that's where we've seen President Biden spending a lot of his time. He was in California. I was in Yonkers, New York. If you would have told me I'd be just outside New York City 2 days before the election, that's where I was with President Biden last night as he was campaigning with Kathy Hochul, the governor there. This is really going to be a key thing to watch tomorrow night. And it's why President Biden is actually closing out his campaigning just outside Washington today in Maryland. Now, it's a race, the governor's race there. Democrats want to win. They know they will win. The Democrat there has a strong lead. President Biden wants to end on a bright spot, and Maryland is going to be a bright spot tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, now President Biden is actually facing a similar situation to what President Obama saw in his first midterm election in 2010 in terms of approval rating. At the time, Obama had a 45% rating. According to the latest NBC News survey, Biden is at 44%. What's at stake right now for the president? Just help us put this in context.
Well, what we're going to see tomorrow night likely is a repeat of historical trends. That's what the White House is really emphasizing at this point. They don't want us to put too much stock in the fact that a bad midterm night for the president's party might spell political doom for him in potential reelection campaign in 2024. Look what happened to Clinton in 94. Look what happened to Obama in 2010. And it was really fascinating there in Philadelphia Saturday night to hear President Obama, talking about what he saw in his own first midterm race. Let's take a listen.
If we had kept the Senate in 2014, we'd have a very different Supreme Court making decisions about our most basic rights. Midterms are no joke.
So we heard President Obama talking about how he got his butt whooped in 2010, but also talking about how much more he could have accomplished. Democrats, he said, pay too much attention to the presidency and not enough to these down ballot races.
All right. Mike Memoli, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.